That's a man.
Peyton Manning stepping out.
It's the Zion Show.
Pass is caught by Joe.
Live from the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, it's the 45th annual ACC basketball tournament. It is semifinal Saturday. Our first game this afternoon matches the third-seeded Maryland Terrapins against the second-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels.
Antawn Jamison getting set to lead the Tar Heels. 2 monster games against Maryland. Laurent Prophet was a defensive demon yesterday against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A lot of focus stand on Akizi in the middle. Maryland, when they won the game in College Park, got great efforts off the bench, as you mentioned, from not only Mike Bartosich, but also Terrence Morris.
Maryland, particularly, Bob, in that game and in this stretch, this latest stretch of 4 straight, they've got an excellent effort from off the bench. They've got balanced scoring. I think they've got to be balanced, and they've got to get a lot of points today.
And it comes back to Ed Cota, and we're underway. Okalaja is starting for the Tar Heels. Jamont Williams, the man coming off the bench.
Maryland starts in man-to-man.
Jai's turnaround is good.
Well, that's a place where you don't expect North Carolina to generate a lot of offense, so anything that Maktar Jai gives you to draw the defense's attention away from Jamison is a big, big factor. Man-to-man for the Tar Heels.
Stokes, Elliott.
Cavish's play has been playing really well, Bob. If he can get some points, that'll be a big factor, too.
Akizi's first 2, 16 yesterday against Georgia Tech. That ties the game at 2. Okalaja in and out. Okalaja in double figures yesterday against the Wolfpack. First time in 8 games for Okalaja. Nice strong inside rebound for Elliott, and a foul on Vince Carter.
Bob, Maryland is at its best when it's playing in transition because it creates open opportunities for folks inside. They, of course, can play in the half-court offense. Obina Akizi sets the screen and then rotates into the middle. Nice job to follow the screener toward the ball.
Maryland looking to take the lead on this possession. Stokes on the wing, matched up with Carter. Cavish is sliding to the wing.
Bob, everybody talks about North Carolina's offense, but their defense is the strongest in the conference in terms of field goal percentage by the opponents. So you'd be well advised to beat it down the court when you can.
Cavish is for 3. 5-2 Maryland.
Maryland now with some pressure.
The Tar Heels have won 10 straight semifinal games. Looking to play in their 25th ACC championship game tomorrow. And a tough 40 minutes to come. Jai back out front to Cota.
I don't know that they know the clock's running down, Bob.
4 on the shot. Elliott and Akizi fight for it. Cavish just finds Laurent Prophet at the other end.
That, Bob, is what you call transition offense.
7-2 Maryland. How big a confidence factor is it, Dan, for the Terps to have that win in their back pocket over Carolina in College Park? The defense there forcing Carolina to take a 20-second timeout.
Bob, I think it's a huge factor. You know you can beat them, but you talk about guys who can play the game. Laurent Prophet, supremely confident that his team is going to get the rebound, and you know he has to be because the shot clock was running down, so he knows the only thing that can happen is a breakout. A smart play by Prophet to get down the court. The Maryland bench obviously happy with that play, but you know Ed Cota just made a real smart play, calling the 20-second timeout just before he was going to get a 10-second violation called. So we saw 2 very heady plays by players in this basketball game early. And both of the plays judging the shot clock. They're looking at the clock. They're seeing how much time is left. Very, very smart plays by each of those individuals.
Okalaja gets it into Jai. The Tar Heels have 20 seconds on the clock as they set up their offense.
Maryland stays in the man-to-man. Elliott and Akizi have been switching the screens on the inside. Elliott really playing off Jai, trying to help out against Jamison.
2 to shoot. Okalaja beat the buzzer. Jamon Williams picks it up for the Tar Heels. The runner is short. And Yesikavicius has it.
Profit asking for the lob. Yesikavicius, I think, wisely not doing it.
Great steal by Okalaja.
That's what we're talking about with their defense. North Carolina really can get after it.
And Jamon Williams puts home his first 2.
And it's a different kind of defense, Bob. It's not the North Carolina team that comes out and gets in your face, but they do such a good job cutting off your passing lanes, playing you solidly in the half-court defense.
Profit to Akizi. And North Carolina's coming the other way. Jamison. The transition game for Maryland could be a double-edged sword.
Bob, it really can be. Maryland has to play in transition to be successful, but in transition is also where the Tar Heels are most successful.
Profit.
I don't think we're going to have a 40-point game today.
I don't think so.
That was not a good shot by Profit. Not just because it didn't go in. You need to move the ball a little bit against North Carolina if you can't beat their defense down the court.
Shot clock draining. Under 14 now. Williams lost the dribble out of bounds.
Did Gary steal that from him?
He was known as a very good defensive guard, but I don't know if he got a hand on that one or not. Timeout in Greensboro. 7-6 Maryland. Profit. Now to Stokes.
Man-to-man.
Shot clock at 14.
North Carolina switching those inside screens.
Elliott for 3.
Boy, good blockouts. Good blockouts. That's solid half-court defense. They're not right in your face pressuring the ball, but they can still do a nice job. And there's a nice tip away by Akizi.
Stokes to Profit. Can Maryland get something in transition? Profit will shoot 2.
Bob, one of the scary things to me, if you have to face the Maryland Terrapins, is that they have won 19 games against the nation's toughest schedule. And I don't really think that LaRon Profit has had the kind of year that Gary Williams expected him to have. Profit is one of those guys who is so capable that he's just, you just get the feeling every game that this may be the game when he explodes and starts off on some incredible run.
He had 19 to lead Maryland against Georgia Tech yesterday. And had an overall terrific game with rebounds, steals, and block shots.
Bill Guthridge looks like the postman, but as intense a competitor, I think, as you'll see.
You could do a little lip reading. He just said bounce pass to Jamon, that last turnover for the Tar Heels. On Williams' pass into the post. 9-6 Maryland.
It's man-to-man, but you'll notice Rodney Elliott, number 25 in red for the Terrapins. He stays back in the lane trying to keep his eye on Antawn Jamison just as much as on Maktar Jai.
Okalaja drives. Wide of the mark. Elliott picks up the rebound.
Jai needs to be crashing the boards a little bit, Bob. Elliott's not really blocking him out, and if Jai will crash the boards, he can get some offensive rebounds.
Elliott, a 38% shooter from three-point range. He's 0 for 2 today. Jai for 3. Okalaja gets it out to Jamon Williams. 9-6 Maryland. Jamison. And a foul.
Oh, boy.
Unstoppable in the low post. How he can get that ball off and in the net is amazing.
Bob, the amazing thing about Jamison is the ball goes inside. Maryland knows they have to come and give some help, but he is so quick in there. Now, Rodney Elliott, the reason he's there is to help out, but he just stands, Bob. He's got to go running at Antawn Jamison and prevent that spin to the basket.
Jamison gets the foul shot out of bounds to Maryland.
Gary Williams telling his team to rebound over there, but if Rodney Elliott is not going to pay real close attention to Jai, then as soon as Jamison gets the ball, Elliott's got to get over and help out. That's the travel.
North Carolina gets it back as Ed Cota comes back into the game for North Carolina.
Now, Obini Akizi is looking at the officials, but Gary Williams did not design the offense for Obini to catch it at the top of the key and drive down the lane.
Now, with Jamison out of the game, what changes will Maryland make defensively with Elliott?
Well, what they do is they move Elliott out to Okalaja.
Into Jai, the hook. Stokes couldn't control it. Carolina possession. Antawn getting his first breather. He won't be there long.
No. No, he should be in the game probably. He will.
Three-pointer. Jamon Williams with 5. Carolina by 2. Yesicavicius. That's his second three-pointer today.
Bob, we talked about the necessity for Maryland to make some open jump shots, and they've made a couple early, and I think that's important because North Carolina doing an outstanding job defensively on the interior.
Carter. And it drops.
Now that is going to be a matchup to watch. Vince Carter against LaRon Prophet. Prophet wants to take it right back at him.
Carter nearly got that one. Prophet drives. Prophet scores.
No, he's not good. Offensive foul.
Take the bucket away. Boy, it looked like Vince Carter was going to get that ball at the top.
Bob, this is a perfect illustration of what we're talking about with the interior defense of North Carolina. Maktar Jai. That's not an inverted peace sign. Gary wants the basket.
13-12.
Of course, it might be an inverted peace sign. He's asking for the opposite thing. But North Carolina does a great job defensively on the interior. Now they threw that ball off the Jefferson Pilot sports sign, which is good for us, but bad for Bill Guthrie.
Third turnover for the Tar Heels.
But it's very rare that you're going to take the ball at the top of the key, as Prophet tried to do the last time, drive all the way to the basket against North Carolina.
Elliott.
See Williams dropping down inside, trying to force the ball back outside.
Terrell Stokes misses the three. Ed Cota. Okalaja for 3. The shooting slump continues. 0 for 4 for Okalaja today. And Okalaja trying to get around Elliott, picks up his second foul.
That was a break for Maryland right there because the youngster Terrence Morris really did telegraph where that ball was going, and Okalaja really almost got to the ball.
We have a timeout in Greensboro.
Gary Williams not happy with the matchup so far. His team struggling offensively, and you cannot struggle offensively very long against North Carolina and expect to survive.
Well, despite that drought, the Terrapins can get the lead on this possession. Greensboro native Matt Kavarek triggers into freshman Mike Martisich.
Well, the Maryland problem, Bob, has been the inability to get the ball inside. North Carolina now in the zone defense, but they have been doing a great job helping out in the man-to-man, preventing the inside opportunities.
Maryland got the ball inside in College Park, did not in Chapel Hill. 4 turnovers for the Terps. And some fancy footwork by Kavarek.
He got away with one there. I think that everybody's a little surprised that he didn't get called for a kick ball on that.
Martisich doubled and fouled. Jamon Williams. It's his first.
Bob, we're talking about the North Carolina defense. And one of the ways that you prevent any opportunities, look right here, this is where the ball's going, it's down on the inside, and also watch what Jamon Williams does when the ball gets inside. Drops down inside. Now right now, before Martisich can make any moves, he picks up the foul, but that's the way you keep the ball out of the inside.
Terrence Morris in for Maryland. Air ball, not even close. Akizi the offensive foul.
That's just good aggressive play on the inside, Bob, and that interior defense doesn't really end until you get the rebound, and North Carolina did not do a good job on the defensive board.
There's Profit with a steal, and Cota gets it right back. Vince Carter back to Shimon. Vince, good tie-up. Excellent defense by Kavarik, and the arrow gives it to Maryland.
Bob Kavarik made a very strong play, but Obina Akizi is going to, this is a tough matchup, but watch Akizi force him just far enough that Kavarik can get in position to make that play. Good team defense.
14-13. Maryland by 1, 10:25 first half. Akizi doubled upon receiving the pass. Yes, Cavish is missing the three. Martisic, it's out of bounds off Okalaja, Maryland ball. Mokhtar Jai comes in for the Tar Heels, and Okalaja goes out.
Bob, the last two possessions, even though Maryland continues to shoot the ball poorly, they've gotten offensive rebounds. Last time down, they converted it. This time, they're at least getting a second chance.
Yes, Cavicius. That's good. Sarunas now with 8. Maryland by 3. And Kavarik with the hand check.
You have to be careful, Bob, if you think you're going to get out and pressure Ed Cota in the full court. Cota just went right around Kavarik. Probably not a bad foul, preventing Cota from getting inside and getting somebody a dunk.
Elliott's in for Akizi. Stay tuned at halftime for Bell South's You Call the Play feature. A look at big plays from past ACC games. 10-minute mark of the first half. Maryland leading by 3. Shamon Williams up top to Cota. Cota keeps that dribble alive against Jesse Cavicius. Nice skip pass to Carter, but he traveled. Got to get a quick first step on Terrence Morris. It was too quick.
No, the step wasn't too quick. The dribble wasn't fast enough.
Maryland 6 of 14 from the field. Carolina 6 of 15. The turnovers becoming a big story of this first half. Elliott. Williams with some numbers. Carter can't handle it.
That's not surprising that Carter can't handle that, because that was a bullet. Now, the last time we saw Bill Guthridge say bounce pass Shimon, but I don't know that he can throw a bounce pass through all those people who were in between he and Carter that time.
Yes, Cavicius off balance, missed it.
Bob, he does that once in a while, looking for a foul on the inside.
Shimon for 3, in and out. Tipped, and the ball belongs to North Carolina.
Bob, not a lot of offense, not nearly
You promised me a high-scoring game.
I promised you a high-scoring game. I know I did. Of course, one of the problems is North Carolina only 1 of 6 from three-point range.
I believe everything you tell me.
I know you do, much to your sometimes.
The tip, and we've got a foul. Terrence Morris was on the back. Or is it? Let's see.
Yes, the
yes,
foul
it was
on
Morris. It's his first.
Well, Morris has a tough task in there. He's trying to match up against Vince Carter, and Carter really quick on the inside. That ankle didn't look like it was bothering him any right there. He really got up after that play.
Cota. Pretty quiet crowd here in Greensboro. You can hear Billy Hine yelling from the Maryland sideline.
Well, that's no surprise.
Williams. Carolina cannot hit a 3. The Tar Heels, Mokhtar Jai with the foul.
Bob, I think what we're seeing here is each team is playing exceptionally well on the defensive end. Jamison has really hardly handled the ball at all. Martisic putting the body on him. Jamison struggles, but had that one get away from him. But Martisic's really doing a great job. He's got a couple of inches on Jamison, and he's just putting that big body on him.
Yes, the Cavicius for 3 is short. Rebound to Stokes. Goes up with the left hand. Now it's Elliott. Count it, and a foul. Yeah, Maryland Maryland's had 2 or 3 offensive rebounds come to them, Dan, because some of their shots in the perimeter have been so wild.
Stokes, I think, will try to convince you that he was trying to throw the pass. His shot, that was such a bad-looking shot. A left-handed off balance, it goes right to Elliott. And then Elliott does a nice job waiting for the contact from Jai and putting it in.
So Jai picks up another foul. 2 quick ones on Mokhtar. And Rodney Elliott to the line to complete a 3-point play. Only 5 points against the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. 16 and 8 rebounds in College Park. Maryland has its biggest lead at 6.
Man-to-man.
Haywood, Jamison. Carter the offensive rebound. Carolina resets. Yesterday, Carolina struggled in the first half in shooting against NC State. They're struggling against Maryland today in the first half.
Right, Bob, but they scored 51 points in the second half against NC State.
And they've done that a few times this year, where they've had a first half that they didn't shoot it well, then turned down the Jets in the second. Elliott. And Maryland gaining confidence now as Elliott has scored 5 quick ones and Maryland leads 21-13.
Maryland's starting to get some inside baskets, Bob, and that has really hurt North Carolina. The Tar Heels haven't made any shots recently.
Carolina's missed its last 7 shots, and now they're shooting 29% for the game.
The Maryland defense really cutting off the penetration most effectively.
But you can only do so much.
Well, the other thing that they've done is they've kept the ball out of Jamison's hands. Jamison has not handled it very much, and when he has handled it, he's scored.
Boy, he's trying to encourage his teammates to work defensively now. Elliott open, missed it. The tip to Carter, and a foul on Elliott. Well, Jamison continues to exhort the Tar Heels.
Now, if that gentleman is going to exhort me, I'm going to be most exhorted. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do whatever he says.
We all feel exhorted. Timeout in Greensboro.
Let's take a look at Antawn Jamison. He's right here. Now watch the area. People talk about moving without the ball, but Jamison moves effectively without the ball, stays right in an area like that, but he can get open nonetheless. North Carolina moves the ball from side to side. Obinakisi, number 54, just a little bit of a screen. He loses Jamison, and you cannot lose Antawn Jamison at all.
Jamison has scored 6 to lead the Tar Heels. He's hit 3 out of 4, but really the only Tar Heels shooting well today. And Maryland has a 6-point advantage, just under 7 to go in the first half.
The reason that Maryland has been able to contain North Carolina, Maryland on a 9-2 run, the reason they've been able to create this drought is that they have prevented the transition game by North Carolina, number 1. And number 2, they've prevented some penetration. They haven't been able to get the ball to Jamison. You can't stop Jamison once he gets it. You've got to do some things to the other guys to make it hard for them to throw him the ball. Kesey now matched up against Jamison.
Okalaja into Brendan Haywood. Okalaja for 3, too long. Rebound to Stokes. Gets it ahead to Yesikavicius. Outnumbered, wisely holds up.
Boy, that was a break for Maryland. Yesikavicius took off down the court, didn't block out Okalaja. Only the quick hands of Stokes saved an easy basket, I think, for North Carolina. Man-to-man for North Carolina.
The Tar Heels have missed 10 of 11 3-point shots. Profit. 21-15 Maryland. Oh, and Carter wasn't looking for it. The 9th Tar Heel turnover.
Bob, I tell you what, when you're a guy who can score like Vince Carter and you're down on the wing on the fast break, you better be looking for the ball. Fortunately for him, it went out of bounds, didn't bounce off his head.
Yesikavicius is open, missed it. Okalaja knocked it away from Elliott.
And with North Carolina in this scoring drought, particularly 3-point scoring drought, if Maryland doesn't make some kind of a big move here shortly, they're going to regret it because North Carolina is not going to continue to miss those shots.
Rodney Elliott. Yesikavicius again and again. He's short with it. Okalaja got rid of it. Jasikevičius takes it away and traveled. But Maryland had 4 great opportunities that time down the floor and missed all 4.
Bob, the Terrapins have had a series of opportunities, and you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you're playing North Carolina. Drags that pivot foot.
21-15. The Terrapins lead. Tar Heels looking to get it going offensively.
Man-to-man.
Carter for 2.
Oh, that's a pretty looking shot, Bob.
First team All-ACC performer. A third-teamer a year ago. Vince Carter pulls Carolina within 4 and knocks the pass away. Okalaja tried to tip it out to Cota, but instead just tipped it out of bounds.
Bob, I don't think that's a bad turnover. That is an aggressive turnover. When you want to get out and run like North Carolina does, you're going to throw the ball out the door a certain number of times. But as long as you're turning it over while you're being aggressive, as long as it's an aggressive turnover, not just a mistake, I don't think that's bad. That was a good attempt by Okalaja.
Morris for Profit. 5 minutes to go in the first half. McKeesey can't control the dribble as he's made the move to the paint. Carolina comes away, trailing by 4.
Bob, North Carolina's defense is keeping them in this game.
But another turnover for the Tar Heels, 12 now. And Maryland trying to make some points off these turnovers. Morris.
Bobby, remember we talked before the game about Maryland's going to have to hit some open jump shots. They've had a number of open jump shots. They have not been able to convert very many of them. So the Tar Heels have really struggled on offense, are able to stay in the game.
Shimon Williams. Here's Terrell Stokes. And nice defense by Okalaja to knock it out of bounds. 4:09 left in the first half. 21-17 Maryland. Elliott for 3. Rodney with 8, his first 3-pointer of the game. With a 3 yesterday against Georgia Tech. 24-17.
See if North Carolina tries to get the ball to Carter. He's matched up against Terrence Morris.
Shimon. Carter the follow.
Bob, there's the penetration. Shimon Williams on the penetration. Who has to pick him up? Terrence Morris. So therefore Morris isn't available to block out Carter, who gets the offensive rebound.
McKeesey. Elliott. Good strong follow.
And Elliott is bleeding heavily from the left eye.
The officials haven't spotted it yet. They will.
Well, he looks like a fighter.
Cota. Now back up top. Okalaja short. The rebound saved on his back by Jamison. Cota touches to Carter, and Vince hits the hook. 8 points for Vince Carter. And now game is stopped as Elliott is bleeding. 2:35 left. And we've got a timeout in Greensboro. We'll be right back.
Maryland with a 26-21 lead. They have struggled on offense, as have the Tar Heels. Rodney Elliott, however, with 5 consecutive points for Maryland. First 3-pointer. And then Rodney Elliott taking advantage on the inside. Nobody blocks him out. Now, Elliott gets this offensive rebound, and as he takes the ball back up and turns up the court, you can see the blood on his face. Paid for that offensive effort. Trying to blink the blood out of his eye, and he continued to play. The officials didn't really notice it. It was actually Obina Akizi who started telling him that Elliott was bleeding. And so I think Gary is going to tell Obina to mind his own business there. Elliott, with the way he's been playing, you got to have him in the game.
Well, there were a few folks on the North Carolina bench that were more than happy to point it out as well.
Well, see, Elliott made a mistake. He ran up right along the sideline there and ran right past Larry Rose. You got to run the other way.
So J.J. Bush is going to work on Elliott. Boy, he looks like a cut man in the corner.
That's
a prize fight.
That is going to be a tough place to prevent any blood.
26-21, Maryland by 5.
North Carolina now in the zone.
And Morris. Profit tips it out of bounds. Tar Heel ball. Jamison. Antawn with 8. 26-23.
Boy, Bob, it's amazing how much more smoothly the North Carolina offense operates when Jamison touches the ball.
Into Akese. Nice tough turnaround move. Obina Akese with 6.
Obina Akese trying to stoke the Maryland part.
Go to number ball, misses. Martisic the rebound. Jamison went down in a heap. He's back to his feet. Now Kovarik.
But he's barred from it.
Easy off the block this time. Gets closer. Profit for 3.
He's just not been able to buy one from out there, Bob. Nice
what a pass! But Maryland takes it away.
I didn't think there was any way that Morris could get to that ball. Good, quick hands by the youngster.
28-23, under a minute to go. First half. Maryland on top. Profit in. Martisic wheels. Hits it. Mike Martisic, who had 12 points and 9 rebounds against the Tar Heels in College Park. His first bucket of this game. Maryland by 7. The Terrapin faithful making a lot of noise. To our left, you can see him there on the left side of your screen. Jamison penetrating. Got bumped, put up the shot, missed it, and a foul on North Carolina. It's Jai, his 3rd.
Antawn Jamison walks up the court right in front of us, very disgusted right at the moment, felt as if he got fouled. Akese goes right into him with the body. Right there, Jamison tried to draw the attention of the officials to it by falling down, but was not able to get the call.
And Maryland will get a 1-and-1. Freshman Mike Martisic to the line. 65% foul shooter during the year and 7 for 15 in ACC play. Martisic steps up. 30-23. Maryland leading. And Carolina will get another crack at it here before halftime. Guy to the bench with 3. Ten seconds in the half. Shot clock is off. Williams, deep 3. Shaman with 8. And a huge bucket for North Carolina to take to the locker room at halftime. With Maryland leading North Carolina 30-26. And Rodney Elliott has returned from Maryland. Suffered that cut above the left eye in that first half. No stitches, but he is wearing a bandage. You'll see as the second half unfolds. Carolina ball to start the second 20 minutes.
Bob, and that three-pointer that Shaman Williams made at the end of the half, a big, I think, momentum booster for North Carolina. See if they take advantage. Man-to-man defense to start the second half for Maryland.
Carter for 3. Got it. So the North Carolina Tar Heels, who missed 11 of their first 12 three-point attempts, have now hit their last 2, and here they come again.
Bob, their interior defense has been very strong throughout the game.
Jamison. 10 for Antawn, and the Tar Heels, just like that, take the lead, and Gary Williams wants a 20.
Well, I think Obina Akese got smacked in the eye. And I don't think Gary Williams, did he call the 20?
He wanted the 20 as soon as the ball went through the net, but that was before he saw the fate of Akese. But he's doing some chewing as Akese comes back to the bench.
Kesey, number 54 in red, is right in the middle, and he goes up, and I think he gets smacked by Rodney Elliott. Elliott, trying to draw the charge, went back right into Kesey, and I think he poked him in the eye. Now, Bob, I don't think they charged the 20-second timeout. So they did not charge. Gary Williams did want the 20-second timeout, but Kesey out of the game, and so they didn't grant the 20-second timeout. It'll be an injury stoppage.
And Bill Guthridge wanted that clarification as well. 6 points and 4 rebounds for Kesey. Each team with 2 20s for the second.
And North Carolina in the zone. Tar Heels have found their three-point shooting touch. The Terrapins would like to find theirs.
Elliott now with a dozen.
Elliott's been the main offensive threat, Bob. And here's Maryland with some pressure. You got to be careful. You don't want to let you want to be aggressive with the pressure, but you don't want to let North Carolina blow by you and get an easy basket.
Maryland back on top, 32-31.
Elliott continues to play way off Maktar Jai so he can help out against Jamison.
Jamison. Rebound. The reach-in foul on Stokes.
Well, if you're going to try to play Laron Prophet against Vince Carter, this is a lineup for North Carolina that's going to create some problems for you. Terrell Stokes does not block out Okulaja. And since Okulaja doesn't dribble the ball in there, Bob, when Stokes slaps down, he commits the foul.
The 8th lead change of the day as North Carolina's up 1. Okulaja trying to take it to 2. 65% foul shooting. 33-32 North Carolina. Nice shovel to Yesikavicius, but he missed the bank, and it's going to be Carter to rebound.
Well, Vince Carter made that play by really hustling back on the defensive end. Carter inside looking for the lob there. They missed it. Man-to-man for Maryland.
Ed Cota on the handoff to Shaman. Carter kept it alive, but the ball hit out of bounds and belongs to Maryland.
Bob, North Carolina had 11 offensive rebounds in the first half, and they continue to do a really good job banging on the boards.
Maryland looking to get the lead back. And a whistle inside. It's going to be on Jai as he decked Yesikavicius. That's the 4th foul on Maktar. Jai is going to stay in the game here, it appears. Now Jamison comes off the Carolina bench, and he's limping just a bit as he goes to the scores table.
Bob, Jamison was a little slow getting off that bench.
Davis, the trainer, was looking at him. Stokes hitting a three-pointer to put Maryland up by 2.
Well, now Maktar Jai is going to have to be very careful. But that's a break for North Carolina as that ball squirts away. Now Jamison's coming in for Carter. Does Jai really have 4 personal fouls?
Yes, he does.
All right, well, we're not saving him.
Shaman Williams jumps it ahead to Cota. Baseline to Jai. Maktar's turnaround is short. Rebound Jamison, and a foul on Stokes again.
Bob,
second.
And that's another example of a guard being down inside, picking up the foul because the big guys don't dribble it. Jamison hangs on to this ball. He does a nice job shedding Martisic in there. Now watch, he doesn't dribble the ball. Hangs on to the ball, is turning to the basket without the dribble, draws the foul.
And out for Shaman. Carolina does a good job at transition defense. Inside Elliott. Too strong. Rebound Morris, and knocked away by Jamison.
Bob, and what did he do inside? We just showed you 2 examples where the big guys inside didn't dribble the ball, so the little guys couldn't get it. First Okalaji, then Jamison. Morris gets the ball, dribbles it, and as a result, North Carolina is able to knock it out of bounds.
16:52 left. Morris for 3. No good. Carolina down 2. Cota from the foul line. And a foul on North Carolina.
It's on Jamison.
It's his first. Jamison, we understand his lower back is giving him some problems. An injury he suffered through earlier in the season.
Well, Bob, I don't know how anybody can play with lower back pain.
Mike Mardisic.
Wow, that's some nice range for the big guy.
The 7-footer from Boston makes it 37-33. Shamon Williams, no good, gets it back. Now Okalaji for 3. That's good. Okalaji hits his first 3-pointer of the tournament. 37-36. Profit returns the favor.
I guess they're all going to go in now, Bob, since they've been all missing earlier in the game.
Okalaji rejected by Morris. Saved by Profit. Maryland ball. And running. Elliott to Stokes. Back to Elliott. And he's out of the game. With 15:48 to play.
Boy, and Jai very, very lucky that he did not get a technical foul. As he left the game, he goes right up to the official and claps his hands in the official's face. Here's the foul. Good fake by Elliott. Jai got too close to him, Bob. Maryland bench very pleased with that. North Carolina not a deep team anyway. Now they've got to go the last 15:48 without Jai. Very, very fortunate he didn't have a technical call.
Elliott to shoot 2. Now Carolina will make another change as Carter replaces Cota. Brendan Haywood has come in for Jai.
Just keep waiting for the North Carolina explosion. If you're a Maryland fan, I think you got to be a little uncomfortable. The Terrapins, you get the feeling like they could be ahead in this game by 10 or 12 points.
Splits a pair at the line, and we've got a timeout in Greensboro. Jai done for the day, and the Tar Heels down 5. Shamon Williams to Brendan Haywood, and he jams it. Wow.
That's a huge contribution right away coming off the bench, Bob. Jai's fouled out of the game. You're a little worried about what's going to happen, and Haywood sends a signal that there's certainly reason to have some confidence in his ability to play in there.
Mardisic, Stokes, around to Elliott. Shot clock at 10. Mardisic turns, fires, misses. Rebound Maryland.
They got to shoot it.
And Profit does. Mardisic tipped the ball, hit the rim, but that's going to be a violation. Now Maryland screaming the ball hit the rim on the shot, and I think they got a point.
I think when Mardisic tipped the ball, Bob, he tipped it right off the rim. I think that Gary Williams has a point there. That's Billy Hahn, Maryland assistant coach, but before the clock goes to 0. This is an air ball, but watch Mardisic. He's going to get his hand up. He tips the ball down. He traps it against the rim, and the shot clock still had not gone off. So that's a break for North Carolina. Mardisic tipped the ball. It bounced right off the rim. That shot clock should have reset.
41-38. Maryland by 3. Jamison missing. Rebound Jamison. Back up. And in. Playing with the back pain and walking gingerly. He's still Houdini under the bucket.
Bob, the folks from North Carolina don't care how he walks, just as long as he can make plays like this. What a marvelous play, getting it underneath Martison. And what Maryland's going to have to do a better job of, Bob, that's a couple of times in this half that they've had the opportunity to claim defensive rebounds, but they weren't able to get their hands on the ball.
Just the second time today, Jamison's been to the line, missed it badly. 41-40, Stokes with a Maryland run out. Inside Elliott.
Nice block out by Shimon Williams.
Carolina can get the lead back. Off Jamison.
That's tough pass.
And tight quarters, no doubt. Yesikavicius driving. And out of bounds. And touched by the heels. 14:03 remaining, and you can just feel the tension building in this game.
Bob, this game hasn't been a thing of beauty from an offensive standpoint, but the intensity out here is something to behold.
Easy bobbles it away to Jamison, the 11th Maryland turnover.
Now, Bob, the Tar Heels are going through a stretch where Maryland's given them some chances and they haven't taken advantage, but there is a foul on Profit. It'll be a 3-shot foul.
And Vince Carter will be going to the line. Be sure to check out the ACC.com, the official website of the ACC, for the latest scores and interesting insights into the life of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Vince Carter has scored 11 today. The Tar Heels have not hit a free throw. They're 0 for 3. 0 for 4. And this is the leading free throw shooting team in the ACC at 71.1%.
Bob, the amazing thing to me is that there have been so few free throws in this game.
Carter goes 1 for 3. Tie game at 41. Profit quickly inside. Elliott back to the basket, kicks it out of Keeson. Yesikavicius, nice fake to get Williams out of the way, but left it short. Now tried to pass in traffic, and it's a turnover. Williams for 3. In and out. Rebound Maryland.
Bob, nothing makes you more tired as a basketball player than to keep running up and down when the ball's not going in the basket.
You're speaking from personal experience?
No, I've been watching a lot, and it seems guys get tired that way.
Stokes looking. Into a Keeson. Tipped into the hands of Cota. And running out, Jamison over the shoulder, but throws it into the hands of Yesikavicius.
Bob, right at the moment, we're seeing two of the best teams in the country going at one another, and they're not making very good decisions on the offensive end.
Three-pointer for Yesikavicius.
Well, they've got to get back there. Jamison is down under the basket. Jamison, it took him a long time to get untangled from the photographers. Maryland had a 5-on-4. Tar Heels didn't see Antawn standing alone under the basket.
Haywood gives it to Cota. And now a whistle and an illegal screen on the Tar Heels.
Haywood picks up the foul. That is an excellent call.
I got right 0-0 with the ball.
12:21 to play.
You know this game is intense. Bill Guthridge is up talking to the officials, and you don't see that very often.
44-41 Maryland.
Not only has Bill Guthridge coached one of the top-rated teams in the country this year, but he's demonstrated you can do it and be a gentleman at the same time.
Yes, and Canvas just goes unchecked and scores.
Nobody put a body on him, Bob, and it was Antawn Jamison who was standing closest to him. Jamison looks like he's moving very delicate.
Carter penetrates and fouled by Profit. That's his third.
Bob, when we talked about the few free throws that we've had in this game, I weren't implying that there should have been more. It's just that neither team really attacking effectively on offense. Carter did that time, however.
The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. Vince Carter regaining the touch at the foul line.
Each team has done a pretty good job, particularly with their interior defense. of playing without fouling. Sometimes in those situations, you have to create some things, get in there, particularly with the dribble penetration, to get the defenders out of their strong positions and force fouls.
Really struggling at the line now. 2 of 5. 46-42 Maryland. Matt Kavaric, Terrence Morris back in for the Terrapins. Elliott leaves it short. And good hustle by Kavaric to keep it alive.
Bob, you get the idea that the first team that really gets a handle on this game offensively is going to win.
With so many shots short, Dan, is fatigue a factor?
Well, Bob, I guess it could be.
Elliott for 3.
You know, Bob, I would think that fatigue would be a bigger factor maybe tomorrow if you have to play 3 in 3 days. Playing 2 in 2 days, I don't know that it should be that big a deal for highly conditioned athletes such as these.
11 minutes to go in the game. Vince Carter rejected and out of bounds. Maryland ball. And we've got a timeout in Greensboro. The Terrapins looking to knock off the Tar Heels for a second time this year and move into the championship game. They're up 7.
Maktar Jai, unfortunately for North Carolina, not playing anymore today. He fouled out with 15:48 left in the game. Maryland on an 8-1 run right at the moment, and this is rather a strange game to say the least. Neither team exactly lighting it up on the offensive end.
Maryland, just under 11 to go in the game, starting to take a little control. It's a big possession. 7-point advantage and the ball.
Certainly defensively for North Carolina, they would really like to have a stop here.
Elliott doubled by Williams. Yasikavicius inside to Elliott. Shot clock at 10. Elliott had it knocked away by Jamison. Coda head up. Looking for an opportunity. And Kavaric got a hand on that one.
Bob, we've seen the last 2 possessions. First Coda, now Kavaric dropping down inside, knocking the ball away from one of the big guys. The defense has been outstanding.
And Morris breaks free in the lane. And Kavaric delivered the pass.
What a catch. What a catch by Morris.
Biggest lead for Maryland at 9. Carter trying to get it back for the Heels. He's fouled.
Bob, one of the things that's going to happen is we look right here, we're going to get a screen from Obina Akizi, number 54. Steps down inside, Akizi sets the screen, Morris just comes off the screen. Antawn Jamison didn't do a good job helping Vince Carter, and Morris was all alone.
Carter with 14 points, his last 3 from the foul line. Under 10 to play. Brendan Haywood played his high school ball here in Greensboro at Dudley.
Bob, and Antawn Jamison, he's limping up the court, he's grimacing as he's trying to play. And we've seen a couple of things. Jamison not helping out on defense, not blocking out. I think that back is really, really bothering.
Yasikavicius drives, push shot, good. 15 for Yasikavicius.
Boy, and he's really picked it up. He and Elliott carrying the load offensively for the Terrapins.
9-point Maryland lead. Coda penetrating. Coda scoring. Ed Coda's first bucket of the day, and it's a big one. Tar Heels down 7.
And Matt Kavaric saying that was my fault. Coda, that's really one of the only times today that he's been able to get past that interior defense, and that's been critical for Maryland.
Elliott spins to the baseline. And he's fouled on the drive.
I think they're going to get Jamison with the foul.
For Jamison, it is his second.
Bob, now we can sit here and see that Jamison's in pain, and so can Rodney Elliott. He calls for the ball, and that was a very confident spin move to the basket. I think generated by the fact that he knows Jamison's hurting a little bit.
And you know, Dan, in watching that replay, if Jamison doesn't bite on the fake, they've got him in no man's land.
Absolutely. Elliott has trapped it down underneath the basket, behind the backboard.
Rodney to the line.
But it's a lot like refereeing the game, Bob. We can sit over here and say, well, you know, let's look at the replay, and that was a pretty easy call to make, and it's the same thing with Jamison. he doesn't really have the option of looking all around, seeing where the backcourt is. You play that game down there by instinct, and I think Jamison's instinct's off a little bit because his back is bothering.
One of the most improved shooters in the ACC. Elliott can't buy a couple of free throws. And again, Maryland leaves the door open for the Tar Heels. 9 minutes to go in the game and a 53-46 Terrapin lead. Haywood off the glass. Brandon Haywood, the North Carolina High School Player of the Year last year, keeping North Carolina afloat with 2 big buckets after Giles fouled out of the game. Morris for 3, no good. It's out of bounds. Carolina ball. And now Maryland is going to take a 22nd timeout.
Well, Bob, everybody, or many of the people around here, most of the folks from the state of North Carolina, anxiously anticipating a Duke North Carolina rematch in the championship game, but it's very obvious that there's 2 other teams going to have something to say about that, and Maryland with the lead right now.
And 2 teams in Maryland and Clemson, Dan, that are playing very good basketball right now.
Maryland going with the 2 big guys right at the moment, Kesey and Martisic. Be interested to see if Jamison can use his quickness in there.
Williams, nowhere to go. Out of bounds to Maryland.
Bob, that time Jamison and Haywood really didn't do a good job giving Williams some options. He drew the defense, which is what you want to do on that penetrating move, but he couldn't find anybody open.
53-48.
North Carolina goes back into the zone.
Tipped, but Stokes recovers. Cavish is driving. Stokes, hands off at Kesey. No good.
Well, he really surprised Kesey with that pass.
Good interception by Cavish's.
Maryland's not been able to get inside against this zone.
18 North Carolina turnovers. My goodness.
North Carolina back to man-to-man.
Profit gets the bounce. LaRon with 9. Maryland by 7. Shamon Williams buries it. His third three-pointer of the game.
Bob Martisic is back inside trying to help out against Jamison, so there was nobody to help on the screen. Cavish just got picked off, and Haywood is a big screen out top.
55-51.
That might be a place where North Carolina can exploit the Maryland defense.
McKeesey. Baseline bounce to Profit. Swish. LaRon Profit with 11. 57-51.
There's Haywood playing up high again, and watch Martisic. Big guy number 33, Red. He's going to try to stay down inside.
Coda open, now drives, puts up the left-hander, hits it, and a foul on Maryland. What a play by Coda. He lost the handle, got it back, and then made a big play.
Bob, we talked about the importance of keeping Ed Coda out of the lane, and you're right, he recovers the ball and he just pitches it up there, and that's a very, very confident move, Bob, because he knows even if he misses it, he's got guys there available for rebounding. Jamison comes out of the game right now, and again, he's talking to the trainer.
Haywood, tip, no, McKeesey fighting for it, Martisic has the rebound. Boy, when Coda starts missing free throws, here's a shot. Profit that won't go. 57-53. Okalaja follows his own miss. Bangs into Profit, and the foul on Profit. That will be his fourth. Bob Stokes getting in foul difficulty.
You don't want to foul a three-point shooter, but I think you certainly want to block a three-point shooter out. How many times with those long rebounds does it come right back to the guy shooting the ball? Cavish did not block out that time, and as a result, Ron Profit picks up his fourth personal foul.
Ademola Okalaja with 5 points in the game, and this one drops in his 6th point.
Bob, and you just sense, even with all the trouble North Carolina's in, with Jamison having a bad back, with Jai having fouled out of the game, that North Carolina is starting to seize the initiative in this one. Cota, Okalaja, Williams certainly making some plays here the last couple of possessions. That was a free throw lane violation by Yesikavicius.
Okalaja gets a reprieve. Keep an eye on Elliott and Carter, too, on the left side of that lane. And Okalaja cashes in on that reprieve. Carolina feeling good about itself. They've cut it to 2 with 6:01 to play.
Now Laurent Prophet, the leading scorer for Maryland coming in, has struggled today. He's now got 4 personal fouls. Antawn Jamison, obviously the big gun for North Carolina. He's had his struggles offensively today. Prophet with 11 points, only 4 of 11. Jamison simply 12 points, only 11 field goal attempts. Antawn Jamison, Bob, in this second half has struggled with a bad back.
57-55 Terrapins.
Man-to-man for North Carolina.
Elliott, 3. And the rebound to Brendan Haywood. And what a solid job he's done for Carolina. Cota penetrating. Shammond Williams. Now Carter for 3. Halfway in the pipe and out. Would have given the Tar Heels the lead.
North Carolina stays in the man-to-man.
And Morris slashing into the lane again, scores.
Now, Bob, they've run that play very successfully twice. That was not an up and down call. The ball was knocked out of his hand. Morris is permitted to recover it. Maryland now in his zone.
15 on the shot clock. Carter. Swish. Vince Carter with a huge 3 to pull Carolina within 1. His second three-pointer of the game. Again, it's Morris cutting in. This time, Haywood rejects it, but Maryland maintains possession. Yesikavicius kicks. Stokes took a look at it, now backs it out. Akizi. Shot clock now at 7. Yesikavicius had it blocked. Haywood takes it down. Brendan Haywood becoming a very big story for Carolina. Shammond Williams for the lead. Rebound Akizi.
Boy, Akizi's come up big on the boards here in the second half, Bob.
59-58 Maryland.
Boy, look at Antawn Jamison. His facial expression, it looks like he's really struggling physically out there.
Akizi in the lane, dangerous pass. Carolina picks it off. Shammond Williams looking to score. Now gives to Jamison, and Carolina goes in front. He's doing his Willis Reed impersonation now. Antawn Jamison, grimacing with back pain, gives North Carolina the 1-point lead and a 20-second timeout for Maryland.
Bob, one of the things that North Carolina has not been able to do effectively is get out in transition and find Antawn Jamison. Jamison just gritting his teeth, doing what he has to do.
You can see Jamison
trying to stretch out that back. Jamison
really hurting.
Now, Bob, he's picking his spots. He's playing in spurts, picking his spots. Right at the moment, his spot is on the bench, and that is not a comfortable expression on his face.
60-59. North Carolina with the lead and 3:29 left.
Zone defense.
In recognition, both on the floor and from the bench. Akizi, good.
Big basket. What a big basket by Akese.
That puts Maryland back in front by 1. 61-60 with 3:10 left.
Maryland drops back into the zone.
Cota, rainbow, good. Cota with 6. Carolina back in front by 1.
North Carolina goes back to the man-to-man.
Stokes gets it into Akese. Another good shot, he got it! Oh my! Obinna Akese!
Obinna, the free throw line up this way, buddy. Akese all the way down on the other end of the court. Bob, Akese sometimes takes a while to make his move inside. For that reason, he's susceptible to guys stealing the ball, but a quick dribble that time, a very powerful move to create just enough space from Haywood, and then he drills it in the basket and takes a walk all the way down on the other end of the court.
Obinna, there's 2:35 to play, my friend. 63-62, Maryland. Akese completes the three-point play. Fasten your seatbelt, folks. It's the ACC tournament. The timeout story, Maryland with 2 fulls. Carolina, its full complement. Both teams in the 1-1. The arrow to Maryland. 64-62.
Maryland drops back in the zone again. Ed Cota has really stepped it up the last few possessions for North Carolina. Been able to penetrate inside.
Cota. Rebound Elliott. And Maryland's running 2-on-1. Profit back to Stokes for the lay-in. Under 2 minutes to play, 66-62 Maryland. And a hand check on Yessa Cavicius. So the Tar Heels have a chance to make some points without the clock running.
Maryland has, like North Carolina, has not had too many opportunities to get out on the fast break. Great job by Laurent Profit to draw the lone defender and make the easy pass back to Stokes.
1-1. Williams with a dozen.
You know, the last guy in the world you want to foul out there is Shimon Williams.
In ACC play, he shot 91% at the line. On his way to setting a new Carolina free throw record for a season. 13 for Shimon. Carolina down 2. Maryland ball. 1:42 left.
North Carolina back in the zone. You want to be content, Bob, to just throw the ball around the outside.
Rebound Shimon Williams.
He has struggled today. Maryland will take that shot every time down, Bob. That was an excellent open look by Laurent Profit. He just didn't get it to go in the basket.
Carolina can tie with a 2, take the lead with a 3.
Zone defense as well for Maryland.
Shimon. Rebound Akese. 2 Tar Heels go down. Maryland ball with a 2-point lead. Under a minute to play. Carolina will get the ball back. The shot clock at 16, game clock at 40. And now Maryland will take a timeout. They'll have 15 seconds on the shot clock when they get it back. And you could see Bill Guthridge on the sideline saying no fouls. And Maryland took the timeout.
Bob, you mentioned that North Carolina is going to get the ball back. Well, the only reason they will get the ball back is if they don't commit a foul, because on a foul, the shot clock would reset. And speaking of resets, our game reset. Maryland, only 1 timeout remaining.
Perhaps why Coach Guthridge was saying no fouls.
Well, they have time to play tough defense without fouling. They'll still have around 20 seconds at the very minimum. So what they've got to do is play well on the defensive end. They don't want to foul.
Elliott for three. Air ball. Carolina's got it down 2.
Carter looking for the lob.
Jamon Williams out front. Gives to Cota. Timeout, Carolina. Cota looked at the bench. Bill Guthrie says yes, take it. It will be a full timeout. 16.2 remaining in semifinal game number 1. A 2-point lead for Maryland at 66-64. And now the situation for North Carolina, down by 2. You don't have the pressure to make a 3-point shot, Dan. You're looking to get the best opportunity you can.
Bob, and I think that's the key right here is for North Carolina, you aren't looking to necessarily win the game. You don't want to hold the ball for the last shot. You want to take the first best opportunity that presents itself. And if that's a 3, so be it. That's a 3. I think North Carolina, certainly with Jamon Williams, Vince Carter, they're capable of hitting the 3-point basket. But this North Carolina offense can put so much pressure on you. Maryland's going to have to defend the whole defensive area.
And boy, that's a difficult thing to do because so many guys for Carolina can step up and want to step up and take the big shot.
Bob, actually, Maryland has done a great job defensively this entire game, as has North Carolina. These are two very potent offensive teams that I think have been shut down by the other team's defense. Yes, there's been some missed shots, but each team has played well defensively. Maryland going to have to make one more defensive stand.
Our MVPs here in our first semifinal game, Rodney Elliott for the Terrapins with 16 points and 8 rebounds, and Vince Carter coming up with a couple of big threes in the second half. But I still believe that our game hero has yet to be determined. It might come at the defensive end for Maryland. It might come at the offensive end for North Carolina.
Bob, the North Carolina Tar Heels coming into the game shooting on the year 53% from the field, and they're only shooting 40% today. So Gary Williams and his Maryland Terrapins have done a great job defensively. The Tar Heels have also really struggled from the 3-point arc.
But in testimony to their greatness, they still have a chance to win the game. Jamison has been a profile in courage, and now another 20 taken by North Carolina. So Bill Guthrie
took a look at the defensive alignment, and he's got the 22nd timeout, so he wants to talk about it a little bit more. North Carolina now, 1 full timeout remaining, 1 22nd timeout. Maryland simply has 1 timeout, and that is a full timeout.
16.2 remaining. If you're Maryland, though, you're going to try to overplay a little bit on the inbounds and make Carolina take it away from the bucket, or is that a factor?
Bob, I think what you want to do right in this situation is you don't want to give up an easy basket. I think you want to play good, solid defense without fouling. If they're going to tie the game on you, or even if they're going to hit a 3, just make them make a tough shot.
Cota backs out, gives to Williams. Jamon, attack, he'll shoot 3 free throws with 4 seconds to go. Jamon Williams with an intelligent play fouls Laurent Prophet out of the game, and now the Tar Heels have a chance to take the lead. The first of the trio. 66-65.
The other thing that does for Maryland, that's their best offensive players just fouled out of the game. You lost a key option if you're going to try to win the game.
That ties it. And now Maryland's going to take a timeout and let Williams think about this last one.
Well, it's going to be a full timeout. And the other thing Maryland's going to do is set up what they want to do on either the make or the miss.
Jamon Williams is 4 of 4 at the line. And we talked earlier about the chance that he's got the opportunity to set the all-time Carolina free throw shooting record that's held by Jeff Lebo. But here's a guy who last year put this ball club on his back and carried him to the championship. Now he's got a chance to put him in the finals again.
Bob, the interesting thing about this is he sees Profit jump up in the air. He just jumps right into him. And Profit is entitled to his vertical space, but Profit's flying through the air in a forward motion. And so this is just a great play by Williams. Gets the fake and then just jumps right into it. That's just an outstanding play.
Maryland had opportunities. An air ball by Rodney Elliott opened the door for Carolina. And now Shamon Williams has a chance to put the Tar Heels in front. Last year in his run to the MVP of the ACC tournament, Shamon Williams had back-to-back 20-point games, was stellar in the championship game against State. And now in his return to the Greensboro stage, trying to lift Carolina into the lead. But Maryland will have another opportunity if he makes it. And of course, on the miss, they've got to be ready to block out and go.
Bob, that is a very important factor right here. If Shamon Williams misses this shot, the Maryland Terrapins have to block out and get the rebound if they're going to have a chance to win this game or to send it into overtime. And here, Gary Williams just trying to make him wait just a little bit longer with a late substitution. North Carolina's done an outstanding job on the offensive boards the entire game, so that's a real issue for Maryland.
Now, the officials are getting together. Carl Hess and Duke Edsel confer at midcourt.
And Shamon Williams is walking around, just looking up at the ceiling.
Well, we've had a Maryland timeout. The Carolina coaching staff is not happy with this consultation. Now, Gary Williams wants to find out what's going on. Phil Ford is livid over on the bench. He knows what Shamon Williams is going through.
What do we have here? What do we have? Wait a second. Just wait. He's free.
Well, whatever this problem is, it's big enough that they've stopped this game to straighten it out.
Well, it involves the substitution with Morris and Kavarik. And I think the issue involved is whether you can put Kavarik in the game at that point.
So no time had come off the clock in the free throw sequence.
They took Kavarik out of the game and they tried to put Kavarik back in the game. And I guarantee you Gary Williams knew that when he did it. It's just another opportunity. You got to use every advantage you can get.
He missed it. Tipped out of bounds. Maryland ball with 3.1 remaining.
Now Maryland's got no timeouts left in this. Rodney Elliott cannot run the baseline.
Elliott baseballs into midcourt. Jamison intercepts. Jamison's got time. Overtime. What a finish. Is the hair standing up on the back of your neck or what? 66-66, and we're going to overtime.
Bob, Maryland with no timeouts left. Rodney Elliott has to stand on the spot. That's what they mean by a spot throw-in. But here comes Antawn Jamison making the play. This is not a great shot, Bob, but he actually is able to get it off. And Jamison has had a gutty second half, the entire half. We got an overtime.
The OT when we come back. Larry Rose to toss it into the hands of Terrence Morris. Maryland ball to start the extra period.
I'm sure when Gary Williams did that, he wasn't expecting it would take that long to get resolved, so any extra time he got was a bonus.
And Shamon Williams missed the free throw. And Morris just fumbles it away to Carter. Hard bounce to Shamon Williams. He goes in and scores. What a play by Carolina. Great feed by Cota.
Bob, and let's keep in mind that Terrence Morris is in this game because LaRon Profit is fouled out.
Elliott trying to get it back. Shoots it short. And Cota one-hands the rebound.
Bob, this is the first time seemingly the entire game that North Carolina has had Maryland back on its heels. I think this is an extremely important defensive possession for the Maryland Terrapins. They're back in that zone defense. Morris playing out on the top.
A minute deep into the OT. Carolina by 2. And Williams working, getting it to Cota. Now Okalaja for 3. Carolina by 5. That's the biggest lead for Carolina today. Akizi on the baseline, short again. Rebound Morris in the middle. Stokes has it, gives up an open look, and Maryland's got to regroup.
Carolina in the man-to-man defense.
Stokes for 3, and Akizi is on the back of Okalaja.
Bob, the Tar Heels have trailed almost this entire game, and it's just amazing. They've seized control.
And Okalaja to step to the line. He's 2 of 2 today at the line, 10 points and 11 rebounds. (72-66). Profit fouled out. Okalaja hit those big free throws at Georgia early in the season. Goes 1 of 2 here, 72-66.
Well, the Terrapins have seemed a little tentative on the offensive end. They need the basket, and the freshman gets it for them.
Terrence Morris with just his 9th three-pointer of the season. 72-69.
Morris is looking around trying to figure out who he's supposed to guard. Now he's found Vince Carter.
I suggest he stay with him. Here's Cota.
Maryland in the man-to-man.
Williams. Shaman with 19. Carolina back in front by 5 and 2:30 left in overtime. Akizi. And Okalaja gave him a shove. 3rd foul on Adi. 1-1 for Maryland.
Bob, that three-point basket that Morris made the last possession was really, I think, a big basket. It sort of infused some little bit of life back in the Maryland Terrapins, and now these are pretty big free throws here for Akizi. 1-1.
Carolina's in the 2-shot situation. Akizi, 66% foul shooter, 1 of 1 today. And he missed the front end.
And Morris picks up the foul going over the back of Jamison. It's the worst thing that can happen for Maryland right there. Bob, you know, we've talked a lot of people all year have talked about North Carolina's lack of depth, but in this particular game, the fact that Jai fouled out, one of their key guys fouled out, North Carolina adjusted to that better than Maryland has. Because with Laurent Prophet fouling out, the Terrapins have really struggled.
And even though he's not in the game, I think Brendan Haywood's minutes in replace of Jai, a big key as Carolina stayed within striking distance. Jamison bids for his 16th point. Oh! 2-possession game with 2:15 left.
Carolina in the man-to-man. Maryland struggled to get it inside all afternoon long.
Keeson. Nice shot in rhythm. 13 points for Akizi. And Maryland stops the clock with 2:01 to play. It is a full timeout. We'll step aside. 2:01 left in OT. Carolina by 4.
Carolina Tar Heels, after trailing for much of this game, really came out of the blocks quickly in the overtime. Morris fumbling the ball, a very aggressive pass, and Williams somehow gets it up to the basket and scores. And then Okalaja, the penetration by Carter against by Cota against the zone. Okalaja able to find it for three, and then Shammond Williams hits another one. And that really rocked the Maryland Terrapins. They trailed by 6 at that point. Now they're down by 4, trying to get back in the game.
As much as a struggle it's been offensively for North Carolina in regulation time. Boy, 9 points in 3 minutes of OT. And they've hit a couple of free throws to add to the total. Now Maryland has got to come up with a defensive stop here. Antawn Jamison, bloodied but unbound here with his effort. Kavarik has come back in for Maryland. Morris out. One of the gutsiest tournament performances we've seen out of Antawn Jamison. (75-71).
Maryland attempted to trap. Of course, now they don't want to foul. The shot clock's down far enough. This is a point where you want to play good defense without fouling. A foul, you just give North Carolina another 35 seconds on the shot clock.
Williams, two-pointer, but it was a dagger. 77-71.
Bob, North Carolina has struggled on the offensive end the entire game, but Shammond Williams, he gets his feet set that time at the guard, play him about as well as you can play him. And Shammond Williams now with 3 baskets in the overtime period. 3 for 3 overall. The Tar Heels 4 for 4.
Laurent Prophet helplessly on the Maryland bench. Jamison out. Minute and a half to go in OT. 77-71 Carolina.
Now here's the zone again. North Carolina trying to force Maryland to run some time.
Elliott. Morris, tough shot, hits it.
Maryland, they used their 1 timeout that they had for the overtime period, so they do not have any timeouts left.
And Morris with the foul.
And that's not the guy you want to foul, Bob.
1:04 remaining. Gary Williams, his ball club.
Bob, we talked in the first half. There was a period of time where North Carolina just couldn't get anything done on the offensive end, and Maryland had an opportunity to be ahead in the game by 10 or 12 points, and they didn't quite get there.
22 for Shammond, and dominated the overtime.
Bob, you talked about that the hero of the game hadn't stepped forward yet. I think Mr. Williams out there is given a pretty strong audition for that particular role.
He's taking the mantle. 79-73. Yes, a Cavashes. Brendan Haywood rips down the rebound.
Bob, and that just might be enough.
Under a minute to go.
Well, Maryland's got to go get them now. They don't have any time.
Cota back to Shammond Williams. Okalaja. Now a foul. And it's on Stokes.
He fouled Haywood.
33 seconds remaining in overtime. Clemson and Duke next.
Nice job moving the ball by North Carolina. Maryland not wanting to foul Shammond Williams, and he did a good job controlling the ball, and then when he got rid of it, they passed it around effectively, ran about 20 seconds off the clock.
Haywood with 5.
And what a contribution this guy's made.
Outstanding. Cut from his 9th grade team in high school here in Greensboro. Made All-County as a junior. Player of the year in the state as a senior.
Well,
and
Bob,
having his biggest moment.
It's taken us overtime, but we're to that magic 80-point number.
Elliott up and short. Rebound Williams, and a foul on Morris denying the break. 26 seconds, and the Tar Heels are on their way to the championship game for the 25th time.
Bob, and that amazing streak of not having lost in an ACC tournament semifinal game since 1984 will continue. And for Gary Williams, he's going to wonder what could have been, but for Bill Guthridge, his team really battled against adversity all day. When you're struggling on offense, sometimes you quit, but North Carolina didn't. They played effectively on defense and finally were able to get some things going on the offensive end, particularly in this overtime.
And say this about the Maryland Terrapins. I think Gary will be the first to tell you after the game, they had every opportunity to win this game in regulation.
Bob, I think when Maryland looks back at this game, they're going to see lots of chances that they had.
We're going to call a foul on Shammond Williams. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Maryland. Jamison back, Haywood out. (83-73) North Carolina. Freshman, a 71% free throw shooter. This is the front end. Rebound Maryland, a foul on Jamison. 18.2 left. Stay with us. Mike Hogwood, Steve Martin will be with you during the break between the games, and then we'll get set for the Clemson Tigers and the Duke Blue Devils in semifinal game number 2. Elliott to the line.
Good.
Missed them both. Rebound to Carter. The Tar Heels are headed to the championship game to meet the winner of the Clemson Duke affair. In overtime, the Tar Heels win it.
Bob, not a spectacular performance by the North Carolina Tar Heels, but just as gritty and tough as you'd want to see.